Scott writes, Ted supports Israel because the Bible says he must. Then he says the Ayatollah is a religious zealot. He's a lunatic, but a particularly dangerous kind of lunatic because he's driven by religious fervor. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. That's what I mean. It's like, are you guys perceiving that it might be a little hypocritical to say they're dangerous, they're religious fanatics, and then at the same time saying, I must support Israel because my Bible doesn't command me to, because I think it commands me to, because of one of the most successful misinformation campaigns ever, which has impacted our country and has impacted our foreign policy and our politicians, which is the Schofield Bible. Marcy writes, so I guess the 90s babies must live through 2 Cold Wars and 1 World War then. Sucks to be us. Absolutely sucks to be us. Monica Munoz writes, hi, Candace, you're amazing and so inspirational, and I wanted to ask some advice on how I could level up my research game. I'm a victim of the failed public school system. You have to buy books. That is the only way to do it. They've even sanitized the web already, and so you knew this during COVID. You couldn't find any other opinion about COVID. The shot was amazing. It's so great. And I actually found that even when I was doing like the Shot in the Dark series on vaccines for children, I had to pay to access old medical studies. It was actually quite an expensive exercise, which is why I then created the Shot in the Dark series to be able to give that to parents, because they're protecting, what they're really doing is they want to wipe history so that we're kind of living in this ever present, like just exactly what 1984, the book by George Orwell, suggests. Like they want you in this ever present. There is no such thing as history, because once you learn history, it disrupts your ever present. What greater example of that, by the way, than the topic of Israel? I was living in an ever present and I actually knew nothing about the history. But yeah, that it really is, you have to go and you have to buy books, and you have to really research and connect to other people and be willing to have conversations with people that you would normally go, that idea sounds completely crazy. And usually it's coming from somewhere, and if they're wrong, you're going to discover that with your own research. And if they're right, you're going to be grateful that you allowed in an idea that may have seemed strange to you at first. EH writes, I was dumb enough to get the J&J COVID vax in 2021 for work, got pregnant about 6 months later, and was a non-viable pregnancy with trisomy 17. Doctor said it's a genetic anomaly. I'm too scared to try again. Don't be too scared to try again. Don't at all be too scared to try again. And, the COVID vaccine, without question, they, like I said, had to admit that it was impacting women's menstruation, and they never wanted to connect the dot that it could be impacting your fertility. Of course, if it's impacting your menstruation is the marker of your fertility. That is literally what it's all about.